What if I told you Italians are never cold, never hot, never hungry, never thirsty, and never in a hurry? If that sounds strange, it's because English and Italian don't just use different words, they frame human experience differently. In Italian, these aren't states, these are possessions. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the most common avere mistakes English speakers make, show you the pattern behind them, and give you a way to make them stick, so you stop translating and start thinking in Italian. If you've ever said sono freddo or sono caldo to complain about being too cold or too hot, you're in good company. These are very common mistakes. In English, you are cold, it's a state. But in Italian, cold is not something you are, it's something you have. Ho freddo. I'm hot. Ho caldo. Literally, I have heat, something I almost possess. The verb is not to be, essere, but to have, avere. Now, these might seem like typical grammar mistakes, but in reality, they run much deeper. You see, when you think in English, you build English sentences just with Italian words. But if you understand that Italian and English perceive and describe reality differently, you'll have a key to fluency. And the verb avere and all the potential pitfalls that come with it is a great way to start exploring these differences. That may seem like grammatical, but in reality they are cultural, or to be precise, mentality differences. And that's what makes learning Italian so fascinating. Let's talk about your age. It's a perfect example of different cultural perceptions. In English, you say, I am, for example, 47. In Italian, ho 47 anni, literally I have 47 years. Now, this is not a quirky exception. It's a signal that Italian perceives and processes information about age differently. English frames age as being something. I am my age. I'm somehow defined by it. It becomes a state. In Italian, it's less of a definition and more of a possession. I have 47 years. Ho 47 anni. So this is not about the wrong verb when you get it wrong. It's keeping the English structure in your mind and trying to pour Italian into it. Once you start recognizing these mentality elements dressed like grammar rules, you start seeing them everywhere. In English, we say, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. These sound like states of being. I am this, almost like my identity for a moment. This is what I am right now. Italians frame this as something you have, something you experience, something external. I am hungry becomes ho fame. I'm thirsty becomes ho sete. I have it. When you get these wrong and maybe get corrected, you think, oh, Italian grammar is so random. But Italian isn't random. It's patterned. The logic is simply not the logic you're used to. It's a different way to process reality. Like all languages, Italian is a mirror of its culture and the thinking patterns of its speakers. When you learn Italian as an English speaker, the goal isn't to memorize a list and hope it sticks, because it won't. The goal is to train a new reflex. Instead of asking, how do I translate this English sentence into Italian, and then translating each word, you start asking, how does Italian translate this human experience? Because when you do that, you stop producing English sentences with Italian words. And if the idea of learning Italian by making sense of it rather than memorizing lists resonates with you, take a look at my book, Italian You. I've written it for English speakers who want to stop translating and start thinking in Italian and feeling at home in Italy. Here are a few more potential avere mistakes that you need to be aware of. I'm in a hurry. Ho fretta. I'm afraid. Ho paura. I'm right. Ho ragione. Same human experience, different framing. Now, how do you make these stick? Don't try to memorize them as a cold list. We already said it doesn't really work. Write one sentence for each expression that is true for you. Because relevance creates attention, and attention builds retention, and apparently rhymes. Make sure you write these down and say them out loud. When do you usually feel hungry? A mezzogiorno ho sempre fame. I'm always hungry at noon. When do you feel sleepy? Dopo pranzo ho sonno. After lunch, I feel a bit sleepy or I'm tired. When are you cold? Ho freddo al cinema. Sempre. Now you're not memorizing, you're building your reality in Italian. Creating relevance and triggering emotion is a core part of our holistic 3D method. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by treating Italian as a mirror of the Italian culture. Because when you understand the culture behind the language, you stop memorizing words and start understanding the mechanisms that make them click. And that's a fast track to fluency. Avere is a very common pitfall. Another mentality trap I see all the time is treating English words in Italian, and there are quite a few, as if they mean the same thing. Words you think you know, except in Italian, they can mean something completely different. If you want to avoid these pitfalls, check out this video. It will help you avoid a lot of mistakes, and as a bonus, it just might make you smile. I'll see you there.